When love becomes a battlefield, the untold saga of Omowunmi Ajiboye and Segun Ogungbe. It was an ordinary weekend morning when the quiet corners of Nigeria's social media suddenly erupted into a frenzy of speculation, disbelief, and passionate arguments. From Lagos to Ilorin, from Instagram threads to neighborhood gossip circles, everyone seemed to be talking about Omowunmi Ajiboye, the respected Yoruba actress, and her explosive revelations about her longtime partner, celebrated filmmaker and actor Segun Ogungbe. For years, theirs had been a union shrouded in half-truths and carefully curated images. Publicly, they appeared to be the quintessential creative power couple, two stars whose shared passion for storytelling spilled seamlessly from the screen into their private lives. But beneath this alluring veneer, as it turns out, something far more turbulent was unfolding. Today, let us step back and trace the arc of this saga, how it began, what has now been revealed, and why so many are rethinking what they thought they knew about love, loyalty, and power in Nollywood. In her emotional statement, Omowunmi Ajiboye declared that, contrary to widespread belief, she and Segun Ogungbe were never legally married. Yes, they shared a home. Yes, they bore children together, living, at least outwardly, as a family. But according to Ajiboye, the union was never sealed by law or any formal right. From my vantage point, this revelation feels seismic. For years, magazines and gossip blogs alike had confidently labeled Ogungbe her husband. Their birthdays, anniversaries, and public celebrations were framed in the language of matrimony. But Ajiboye insisted these were assumptions she allowed to linger, perhaps out of convenience or fear of judgment. In her words, "We only share children together. We are not married." Such a blunt confession punctured the illusion of a happy domestic partnership, and set the stage for the darker allegations that followed. If Ajiboye had merely clarified her marital status, perhaps the storm might have passed in a few news cycles. But she did not stop there. With a voice quivering between sorrow and outrage, she accused Segun Ogungbe of serial infidelity. She painted a picture of a man who, she said, habitually violated her trust, bringing romantic entanglements into their shared space and leaving her emotionally exhausted. But even more shocking was the claim that some of her domestic workers suffered exploitation in the very house she and Ogungbe shared. In her telling, there were instances when female staff allegedly endured harassment and forced abortions, an unthinkable scenario that, if proven, points not merely to betrayal but to systemic abuse of power. Imagine, for a moment, the sheer horror of discovering that the people you employed to care for your home were also victims, trapped in a web of manipulation. Ajiboye's statement did not mince words. She claimed these actions were deliberate, repeated, and devastating. And while she offered no documentary evidence in her video, her conviction was unmistakable. Whether or not every detail is corroborated in court, the emotional weight of her testimony was enough to electrify public opinion. Of course, no scandal arrives alone. In the aftermath of her confessional video, the rumor mill began spinning even faster. Speculation swirled that Ajiboye's closeness to Lagos Transport Union boss MC Olumo was the real reason for her estrangement from Ogungbe. Some accused her of seeking a wealthier protector, trading an alien relationship for financial security. But Ajiboye was emphatic in her rebuttal. According to her, MC Olumo was a benefactor of her foundation and an important figure in community development initiatives. She described him as a friend and supporter, but nothing more. In her voice, there was a kind of weary exasperation and exhaustion born of years spent fending off rumors and distortions. "I have never been his woman," she declared. For many observers, her denial sparked fresh debates about the challenges women in the public eye face, how every association with a powerful man becomes suspect, how every gesture of support is read as romantic involvement. While the headlines have largely focused on the adults, Ajiboye reminded everyone that at the center of this drama are innocent children she described as her primary concern. Imagine, as a narrator, the strain of raising young ones in an environment clouded by accusations and gossip. Imagine explaining to them why their parents no longer share the same roof, why strangers on the internet hurl insults, or why their mother has to post videos defending her dignity. Ajiboye said she has endured relentless cyberbullying, people calling her names, questioning her morality, and mocking her every word. She claimed that trolls had gone so far as to wish evil upon her children. Her breaking point, it seems, was less about the end of her relationship and more about protecting her sons from psychological harm. In her closing remarks, she placed a powerful curse on those who, she said, have made it their mission to destroy her peace. Whether or not you believe in the power of such curses, her anguish felt undeniably real. As the dust swirled around Ajiboye's revelations, Segun Ogungbe himself remained conspicuously silent, at least publicly. Some interpret his silence as dignified restraint, a refusal to escalate a private matter. Others suspect it may be a tacit admission, or simply a strategy to weather the storm until public attention shifts elsewhere. In Nollywood's history, few scandals have blended personal betrayal and potential criminal conduct so explosively. One wonders, will Ogungbe eventually respond? Will there be lawsuits? Reconciliations? Or will both parties simply retreat into the quiet of private lives forever changed? As a narrator chronicling this saga, I am struck by the cautionary lessons it offers. First, it reminds us that celebrity relationships, so often held up as aspirational, are no less prone to dysfunction and heartbreak than anyone else's. Perhaps even more so, given the relentless scrutiny and the temptations of fame. Second, Ajiboye's story underscores how quickly a woman's reputation can be weaponized against her. In the court of public opinion, it often matters less what she actually did and more what people are willing to believe. Third, the saga spotlights deeper societal issues, the mistreatment of domestic staff, the murky power dynamics between men and women in the entertainment industry, and the corrosive effect of social media speculation. As of this writing, the future remains unclear. Will Ajiboye pursue legal action? Will more women come forward to corroborate her claims? Will Segun Ogungbe finally break his silence? One thing is certain, this is no fleeting celebrity spat. It is a reckoning, one that forces fans, colleagues, and cultural observers alike to confront uncomfortable truths about the industry, about power, and about the hidden cost of relationships that look glamorous from the outside.